Mini episode 1107 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
One thing I wanted to bring up, though, we were talking about earlier, like, you know, the revival in pro wrestling and everything.
Doing an old school gimmick.
Something like, you know, like fan interest in it is also another thing that has kind of going all along the same lines is the decline in MMA interest. Like, I believe the MMA bubble burst. Because if you notice right now, they don't you have, you know, Bellator that's out there, and you have UFC, but UFC doesn't really have any stars anymore. We've talked about this on the MMA thing. Like, their biggest star to come back in now is going to be Brock Lesnar, who just is leaving here because to pop a buy rate.
Hasn't it become like boxing? Like, what compelling matchups are there? What matchups are there the public is clamoring to see in 2019?
I feel that it is the whole, like, oh my god, it's real versus it's fake thing is kind of passe. Right. You're always going to have those people out there like, oh, this stuff's fake. And the best thing about those people, God love you, because they will make a point to let you know how dumb this is because it's fake. It's like, I really hate to see what happens when you find out about movies, buddy.
That's
I really hate to see what it's like. But like,
my BFF is that
like,
guy.
For example,
and I always say, do you yell at the movie screen? You know, I mean,
Survivor's fake.
Yeah.
All right, it's a fake show.
It's a work.
Yeah. I don't watch it.
Right.
I don't have nothing against it. I just don't watch it. When it first came on, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "This is a work." They're like, "What? It's a work. It's not real."
Any quote unquote reality show.
They're all works.
Yeah, they are.
The greatest one ever was the Joe Schmo show because at least it admitted it was a work.
I loved that one. Wasn't that an awesome show?
It was a great show. They were so mean to that guy.
Well, but here's the thing,
so good.
Here's the thing, though. For a show that was a work, it was like, I mean, maybe I'm a mark. There was like real emotion at the end with the reveal, wasn't there?
Oh
like,
yeah,
that
absolutely.
Was
they all like felt really bad.
Betrayal, the feeling of betrayal.
He's like, you jerks. That was fantastic.
Yeah, like that. You're absolutely right. That was amazing. But it's a thing where, you know, you look at this landscape and you look at, again, sort of like Pro Wrestling USA with this whole schmaz you're talking about, all the promotions that you were covering this week and some of the other ones in there, and then of course AEW off to the side. We'll have to see if they end up being the Jim Crockett Promotions. Ironically,
I have a feeling they kind of will be. We'll be working with
who was also on the Turner Networks.
Who was also on the Turner Networks, which is, you know, and
life repeats itself.
Life really does. And who was in charge of a lot of the stuff down there?
Yeah.
Who was the booker, if you will?
Well, it was the son of a plumber instead of the grandson of a plumber.
And interesting thing, and I mean, we don't know if it's true or not, but like the rumor mill was that the other son of a plumber might also be free.
Yes.
Coming up soon. And honestly, I really hope that he is, because that would be a great addition to like what they're doing out there.
Yeah, I'd like to see him doing more than he is. A very, very, very underrated worker over the years, Dustin Rhodes, no question about it. And again, the one thing he's been instrumental in doing the last couple of years is being one of these agents, producers now they call them, and they have had collectively a great impact on the next generation of wrestlers. Now Shawn Michaels serving in that capacity with NXT, and again the NXT show on Friday night. You have so much to look forward to, and for those of you out there who watched it, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who didn't watch it yet, you don't know what I'm talking about, but take my word for it. Maybe the best TakeOver show yet, and the TakeOver shows are always among the best of the year. An opener that was just, it just blew my balls off with War Raiders versus Ricochet and Aleister Black. I expected a lot out of Ricochet and Aleister Black. I haven't seen as much War Raiders. I didn't know they were more than just hosses. My God, those guys can move. And it was amazing. I mean, for them to hold up their end against Aleister Black and Ricochet, guys of their size, I think I put that one at about 4 stars, but it was amazing.
When you see something like that, it's interesting. You know, we spent all this time putting over AEW, but then there's NXT, which is, you know, WWE's farm system. Like they're like, you know, essentially it's their developmental, which is also happens to be their best brand.
Yes.
And it's the only one. What is the best thing about that one is there's one guy who's not involved with it, Vince McMahon.
Right.
Which I bring up the question, is Vince McMahon the greatest detriment to, is he doing more harm than good at this stage? Is his micromanagement and his insanity of trying to keep tabs on every little thing hindering what should be, you know?
I mean,
or what could be.
But it's so funny, too, because NXT and NXT UK stand as the perfect representative of that, because the precursor to any of the NXT UK stuff, the specials that they did, the first one they did January 2017, Michael Cole, who for the longest period of time has just been diarrhea as a play-by-play announcer. My God, he was on the NXT show, NXT UK, unproduced. Oh my God, Michael Cole is a really good announcer. They've just ruined him, you know?
Oh yeah, he's so. I mean, but that's the same thing.
Produced versus unproduced.
You gotta remember on exactly produced versus unproduced. That and the fact that like Monday Night Raw, Michael Cole is out there shilling. It is a selling. It is the
and not the good Ricky Morton kind of selling.
Again, it goes back to wrestling fans being the only ones out there. Wrestling fans are they're like Cleveland Browns fans, you know, used to be back in the day where it was like, you know, this sucks. I'll be back. Okay, I'll see you next week.
Right.
They complain about how terrible it is. I'll be back next week. And then, you know, then every once in a while a Baker Mayfield comes along and you're like, it's so great!
Although, if you're looking at the WWE ratings, you know, some of these people are not bluffing when they say I'm not tuning in next week.
No, because they're not. Because, I mean, but that and the fact that, you know, ratings anymore now are like a complete, like, no one's going to sitting through this 3-hour bore fest. It's like, you know, it's just, that's a chore for any show.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's like to come up with that much content, that much programming, and to have that like that. I mean, I don't know. It's just like I went to WrestleMania, all right, and that thing, I'm pretty sure that just ended 10 minutes ago.
Well, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, how it's the complete opposite of NXT TakeOver, because I was explaining this to my aforementioned friend Ted Reekling.
Hi, Ted.
Hi, Ted. Who also just got the network on the free trial basis kind of a thing. So I was telling him about NXT and how you're going to love TakeOver, and it's the complete opposite because less is more. They had that awesome match at the outset there. I mean, who would have ever thought 5 years ago you could be saying in developmental there's a dream match? But I'll tell you what, Velveteen Dream v. Matt Riddle was pretty much that. And it was a very unique match, the kind you don't see on the main roster. Something to really look forward to. The women's match was decent. I mean, it was what it was. I think I probably put it at about 3 stars. It was not a bad match, but a 4-way with the crop that they had there, it was not designed to steal the show. I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. I think it was in the cool down spot. Pete Dunne, Walter was awesome. Like, I knew it was going to be awesome. I've watched a decent amount of the NXT UK product. And it just, I don't know how much of it you've watched or not.
I watched the takeover that set this match up.
Okay.
Where it was, I think it was Pete Dunne and was it Joe Coffey? Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Guys, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one, and the Mustache Mountain took on whoever won the title.
Grizzled young veterans, yeah.
Yeah. So I saw that show, and Finn Balor made his surprise appearance.
That was a good show.
That was a really good show.
It was, and it was a thing where like I didn't know what to expect when I watched the first NXT UK show, because like guys like me and you, like, what do we know about like British pop culture and that kind of stuff? I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to relate to these guys or whatever, but it was so fun because it was like you were able to relate to them. And one of my favorite guys, I don't know if you've seen him in there, you talk about like the epitome of British culture. Have you ever seen Flash Morgan Webster?
No.
That guy, he's called the Mod Father. He dresses in like the old style mod stuff. He's got the circle type glasses.
That's pretty funny.
It's awesome, dude. The guy, like, it's like he stepped out of an Austin Powers movie. It's a great gimmick. He is so awesome. But it's a great product. Pete Dunne, Walter. I mean, that was a unique kind of a match. And Walter's a guy where people looked at him like, the guy looks like Vladimir Kozlov. Well, picture of Vladimir Kozlov who works and moves and is agile and like Again, big men who are agile are just like awesome. I have no time and no patience for big men who are just gassed up freaks, can't move, whatever. Walter can go, and Pete Dunne is one of the best in the world today, if not the best. The two of them together were awesome. The main event, Gargano and Cole. I don't think it really hit the fifth gear until the third fall, but that was probably by design. That last fall is as good of a fall in a best-of-3 match, maybe as there's ever been. And yeah, you could probably put Flair Steamboat in the Superdome in there. That third fall was amazing because in the first one or two, I was kind of like, okay, is this going to get better from here? Oh, it did. It did, Ricky. It did. Just be patient. And it did. So you have a lot to look forward to, Jake. And like I said, for anybody out there who's already watched it, they know what I'm talking about. And probably none of what I'm saying surprises you because this is what we expect from NXT.
Yeah, absolutely. None of this surprises me.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it on paper, I went, oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, what a card.
I looked at it like, yep, that's going to be. You mentioned, oh my God, Walter, and then you just mentioned Kozlov. And it got me thinking about Kozlov's former tag team partner, who's a tag team champion with Santino.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Him and I were hanging out for a little while out back backstage at the Impact show. I don't remember the conversation we were having. We were laughing about something. And, it came up. It was kind of surreal in one of those situations where I'm just standing there and, Mike's getting stuff set up and, moving things. And I walk in the door and here's Rob Van Dam, and Rob just looks at me and I'm like, hey, Rob, good to see you again. He goes, hey man, you too. I'm like, you don't remember me.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool if you did. If you looked at me and goes, yeah, we smoked pot out back of the outpost in Kent. But Rob, cool. We'd become best friends for life that day. But they would just around you see and I made sure he followed the etiquette, and said hello to Scott D'Amore running the show, Don Callis, and said hi.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for like a 2-hour conversation about many different things with you and Don Callis. That seems like it would be very interesting.
That would be very interesting.
Yes.
I did not have much time to talk with him. It was just more of a hello.
My dinner with Don. Yes.
Yeah, right? He's an interesting... It seems like... And just, Tommy Dreamer, who made a surprise appearance on the show. He's
my hero.
And I'm just like...
My fantasy baseball team since 2001 has been named the Innovators of Violence.
Nice.
Yes.
And it was just one of those things where it's like standing back and I'm like... Tommy Dreamer, I first met you 10 years ago at a show with Ryan Ward and Kyle Ross where we were at some indie show where EC3 wrestled on that show.
Oh,
and there was
Cleveland's own.
Cleveland's own EC3, where Michael the Deviant Hunter was on there. And they had this thing where these two guys are wrestling, these two fat dudes are wrestling in the main event. And they were just beating the crap out of each other's light tubes. And I looked at the time Dreamer was he worked in talent relations or whatever. And I looked at Tommy Dreamer and I went, what are your thoughts on that? He goes, I'm like, but what do you think what are your thoughts on the hardcore match? He goes, I think it's effing stupid. It's the greatest thing ever.
Jesus, when Tommy Dreamer thinks you're too reckless.
Tommy Dreamer called him dumb.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh god.
Oh my god.
And then just fast forward many years later and be like, oh hey, there's Tommy Dreamer, and there comes Sabu, and people were freaking out because by people I mean Justin Doan was freaking out because Sabu's not here yet. I'm like, you're only freaking out because you want to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
Sabu will be here. He's a man of his word. If I've learned anything, Sabu always makes his dates.
Yeah, he does.
And
he does.
Sabu was there.
And
they did a little piece of business. I wasn't going to set the world on fire, but it was. Because you don't have a time machine. If it was 1998, Sabu and Rob Van Dam versus 2019 Pentagon and Phoenix. Oh my God, that would be that'd be a 35-minute classic.
It would be.
It's 2019 Rob Van Dam and 2019 Sabu. Well, I was happy we got 8 minutes.
Exactly. and you know what? And if anybody wants to see those two guys together in their prime, I know the way that the Smart Mark community is, and the way that they look back on some of the things that happened. There's people who are going to fart at what I'm about to say, but if you want to see RVD and Sabu at their best, You know who they were at their best against, in my estimation? The Eliminators.
The New Breed?
No. Very good. I believe in 2002 they hooked up somewhere, yes.
The New Breed. And,
yes.
when they took on the New Breed at WrestleMania 23, that was the highlight of everything.
Oh, you meant the ECW.
ECW New Breed, yeah.
Oh, I was going back to Champion and Royal. You had me.
Yeah. I was going with
okay.
WrestleMania, the ECW original versus the New Breed.
Them and the Eliminators.
Heck, I worked
95, 96.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I worked with half that match this past weekend.
I think you did. Yeah, I think you did. Was the Pope anywhere around?
He was not, but I have worked with Kevin Thorne in the past.
Okay.
He was saying, he wasn't there this weekend, but I have worked with him.
It had to be absolutely fascinating, all the people that you were around. And
the doors just kept opening, and like next thing you know, here comes somebody else, and you're just like, what? Okay.
Well, and that's the whole thing.
I met Justin Credible in a back alley as he was leaving the building, and let's just say he was enjoying Mania weekend when I met him.
Was he still wearing his Target shirt?
He was not wearing his Target shirt.
Oh, okay.
He had changed, but he was happy. He was in a happy mood. Paige's mom was hilarious.
Are you referencing getting like a BJ in the alley?
No, I'm not. I'm not referencing that.
All right.
No.
All right. I was you see. Okay, yeah. You all right? All right. I'm getting the pantomime here. All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then Paige's mom's like walking around, hanging around back in the back. It was just like you look around, it's like there's Justin Credible, there's Soraya Knight. It's like that's Paige's mom. Then all of a sudden, here comes Noelle Foley and Frank the Clown walking down the steps. It's like, what is happening? What is my life right now? And it's like, hey, hi, how are you? And then I filmed this. This is after filming a Devil's Den death match. And it was like chains and hooks, and at one point, so at the show, I don't want to give too much away on it, but at one point there's a great spot where they brought in a special effects crew, and my buddy Matt Justice straight up murders a dude. And he slits his throat, and blood goes everywhere. The pictures are on their page, so it's like, blood goes everywhere, and all this other stuff. And I look down, and I get some of the blood on me. And I say to the guys in the headset, I go, because my first thing I did was I licked it. I licked it, and they're like, what? Justin looks at me, he's like, ugh! I'm like,
you must have been pretty confident those guys had to pass a Hep C test.
Oh no, it was I mean, I had met the guys who set up the prosthetic in the back. It was corn syrup.
Okay.
I mean, he bled everywhere. Like, if you go to the Blackcraft Wrestling page on Facebook,
I still wouldn't lick somebody else's corn syrup.
Hang on. So here's where it gets even better. So I'm sitting there.
Better than you looking up.
Yeah, I lick the corn, and I go, oh, thank God. And they look at me and go, what? I go, I was just making sure that was the preacher's fake blood that I licked off my arm and not Schlack's real blood that bled on me earlier, because I got a shot of Schlack, and G. Raver was raking his face over the chains, and blood's coming out after he hit him in the head with tattoo needles, and some of it bled on me and bled on the camera, and I'm like, oh, God, I forgot, because it was on the hand. I'm like, what has my life come to? And what other line of work or any place where you say, I had to make sure that it was Pinhead's fake blood and not some dude named Schlack's real blood.
And of the many videos you posted on Facebook, there was the stapling the newspaper to the forehead.
Yeah, that was the Sami Callihan gimmick did that. Oh, they did this really great thing and I've never seen this in a match before, and it was fantastic. They took his shoes off, and Jimmy Havoc took off Sami Callihan's shoe, took out cardboard, and was giving him paper cuts in between his toes.
Ooh!
Right? It's like, ugh!
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun. And I
realism
actually complimented Sami Callihan after the show. I was like, I've never seen that before. And that's one of those things where as soon as they did it, everyone in that arena was like, ugh! Like, they were just like cringing it. Like, it was a fantastic spot that I had never seen done.
Not only that, in the old history in wrestling of all these ostensible containers of things that are works, like ether and that kind of stuff. You're gonna do.
I can smell it up here. It's gotta be ether.
You know what? You do a spot like that. You got to pull out a big old work can of turpentine and go to pour it in there as well. Yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you take that spot over the top.
Some iodine.
Iodine, yeah.
So I think I could share this. I don't know if it's going to get back to Sami Callihan. So here's a really funny thing.
Here's hoping it does.
So at one point in time, there's a spot in the match where Sammy has like Jimmy Havoc's cut open, and Sammy takes lemons and puts like the lemon juice in there.
Okay,
right? It's great. Like, oh my god,
yeah.
He worked himself because when he bit into it, he got the lemons in his eye. That was my conversation with Sammy Callahan, and he was like, I've got a crap in my eye. It hurt so bad.
Like,
I was like,
yeah, but I think the guy getting the lemon juice and the blood's hurting worse.
I'm like, you worked yourself into a shoot.
See, but that's the thing, though. Like, the week has a million different things like this, and yet...
Oh, they're everywhere.
That's where it's so hard for anything to stand out. At the end of the day, I mean, the NXT show is of a stature where it's going to have a handful of things that we remember, and Gargano, and the ending to it, and then Ciampa comes out at the end there, more or less kind of breaking kayfabe with the curtain call. But you've got that. But then the other things during the week, it's so hard to break through. Enzo and Cass, more than anything else, that's the moment that broke through at the Garden, because that's the thing that just made Twitter blow up right about the time that the Bret Hart run-in, at the Hall of Fame there, when poor Bret got tackled. Multi-time show guest. Hope to talk to him again on the show here. Even though he worked us about coming back to WWE in 2010. We forgive you, Bret. You did what you had to do.
Rick doesn't hold grudges.
I do not hold grudges. I will just passive-aggressively mention that from time to time about how he worked us like no less than about 60 days before it happened. But, it's so hard for anything to stand out. And like I said at the outset, that's what makes WrestleMania a microcosm of WrestleMania week. Because 14 matches on the main show, 3 on the pre-show, and there are a handful of, you throw WrestleMania moment around, people throw it around these days. Ric Flair likes to bitch about people devaluing the word great. WrestleMania moment has been devalued at just like the word great. Coming out of the show, you have, and we'll talk about the main event subsequently, but obviously the main event, Becky wins, gets the moment that she should have gotten, aside from what may or may not have been a dusty finish there, which was stupid, however it happened. Kofi's thing, which you knew was going to be a great thing, which, by the way, too, for anybody that was worried they weren't going to have that finish and Kofi wasn't going to go over, I was talking to somebody about this like a week or two before Mania. I'm like, dude, Kofi is going over. Where are they doing their next overseas show subsequently? Saudi Arabia? Yeah. Guess who doesn't wrestle in Saudi Arabia? Daniel Bryan. Exactly. So there was never any doubt that they were going to pull the trigger on the Kofi push there. You've got a handful of other things here. Kurt Angle after his match, which was regrettable and short at least. There was that.
So that match happened, and we're like, well, that was literally this. I'm sitting up, I'm like, well, that happened.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Crowd's like, yep, that was that. That was it. And thank you, Kurt. And he got his moment, and he got to leave. I was just like,
he did.
I was like, that was just stupid.
He did.
It's like,
I mean,
that's just dumb.
I think Triple H would like to say that him getting out the pliers to take the nose rings out of Batista would qualify as a WrestleMania moment, but I think that would be a massive reach. I think anything that happened in that match being a WrestleMania moment would be a massive reach.
I was live for that match, and I don't remember a thing about it.
It was...
So where our seats were, we couldn't see the intro, so
Yeah.
I actually want to see, go back and watch the show just to see the entrances, because I didn't see any of them. We're on the side by the stage and everything, but it's that match happened, and I'm pretty sure I spent the entire time talking to people around us, because it was the foregone conclusion match,
right?
That you knew Drax wasn't winning,
right.
So it was like, okay, Triple H is going to win. I remember the next day, just so everyone knows, to clarify, we busted our butts for 3 days. It's probably my favorite accomplishment is the fact that we did shows and none of them were in back-to-back venues. So we're running the 12-hour broadcast. Ty was holding that down in the fort back at the studio. Mm-hmm. We're going from... I'm driving in New York City traffic going from show to show, and they're not getting done. The TNA show, the Impact show. The Impact show, that didn't get out until... we didn't leave the building till 3:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you got to find late-night McDonald's because the only thing open at 3:30 in the morning, unless you want to go through Hell's Half Acres after, working and, doing the setup, the tear down, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The Blackcraft show, They had to turn the lights on in the venue because the show ran so long. They had to get it all out. It was 3:00 in the morning, and the battle royal was going on, and they were like Barcalos.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. So then we got to tear all that stuff down. By the time we get out of there, it's like 4:15, and we're waking up again the next day at like 9 or 10 to start the next day to do it all over again.
Right.
So by the time we got to WrestleMania, I drank a bottle of whiskey in the parking lot at the tailgate, along with several beers with all, like, my favorite part of WrestleMania was just, it felt like going, if you've ever been to a Browns game or any football game, it was tailgating. And I was telling it to Justin on the web, he goes, people don't tailgate WrestleMania. I'm like, oh, you will look. And sure enough, there was tailgate. We met so many people walking up, and some people didn't like us because we took Odell Beckham, OBJ away, but we're like, hey, our bad. So, like, you know...
You should have had an OBJ Browns jersey for the occasion.
I probably should have. In hindsight, I thought about that, but I had to wear my Brock Lesnar t-shirt, and Brock Lesnar did such a fantastic job at WrestleMania. I was so proud of him.
Well, I was going to say, I
so
don't know
proud of
what
him.
Qualifies as a WrestleMania moment, although what did was, I don't know if you've heard this or not, nobody, because apparently it was a last-minute thing, nobody clued in Hulk what was coming afterwards. So when Paul Heyman comes out to make the Hulkamania entrance as that's still going on, like, Hulk's look of confusion was not a work.
That's
Nobody
great.
told him. That was amazing. That
You're just lucky to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And
he came up in conversation. It was really funny. So there is somewhere out on the internet, and I'll have to find it through my buddy Ty's on the he runs I guess you could say a black subculture page,
okay.
And me whiskey drunk trying to find our seats was Facebook Live, and it was hilarious, and I don't remember parts of it. I'm like, we shut the light. He goes, no, Jake, we can't shut it off. We're live in the ghetto. What, you don't want to be in the ghetto? He goes, and he had made these comments. He goes, if I see Terry, I'm going to get a piece of my mind. And then no sooner that happens, and then Alexa Bliss comes out, and there's Terry, and he goes from, like, I'm going to give a piece of my mind to, oh my God, it's Hulk Hogan. And I go, well, you're real quick to forgive.
As we bring the show to a close, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, all Clear Channel affiliates, TNT, TBS, USA, UPN, Deadspin.com, YouTube.com, YTMND.com, MySpace.com, various blogs, Fox News, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, IamBoard.com, Billboard.com, Google.com, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPN Classic, NBA TV, NFL Network, Sports Time Ohio, Athlon Magazine, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, The Boomerang Channel, QVC, BET, The Spice Channel, Steno Notebooks, Manwich, Papermate Office Supplies, Waitresses, Strippers, Bartenders, Garbage Men, Janitors, Microwave Popcorn, the writers of The Office, Scrubs, Entourage, My Name is Earl, Oz, Metalocalypse and the Boondocks, Aquafina, and The Periodic Table of Elements.